Hello and welcome to today's video. We will be talking about systems. Use them or lose. Why bother? Systems are going to allow you to stop overthinking whenever you get a new contact, a new lead, whenever you're at an appointment, whatever it is, and just start acting. You're going to kind of get to the point where your actions are going to be completely reflexive. You're not going to have to think about it. It's just boom, take that action and move forward. They're going to create structure and build motivation to succeed. If you're looking at placing 2 hours worth of calls, you're like, oh my goodness, I have to make 150 phone calls. This is going to take me forever. Your motivation goes down. But if you're looking at it and saying, hey, I need to make 5 phone calls, that's a much easier number to handle. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's going to push you to actually go through and get the work done and succeed. Systems are going to generate efficiencies for better results. When you're actually going through and doing your prospecting or you're doing your follow-up, if you could kind of lump these things together, you can do 5, 10, 20 at a time, rather than trying to take a phone call or then send a text and then an email and then I'm going to go get coffee. You're just going to be able to kind of bust through a lot of activity. You're not going to have to worry so much about task switching and all the mental energy that takes. Systems become routine, and routine becomes your forecast. If you're systematic about your lead generation and your follow-up, after a couple of weeks, you're going to start to see patterns emerging, and that's going to allow you to make some adjustments. And then eventually, as you get into it, you're going to see that, okay, if I'm making 10 phone calls, I'm getting 2 appointments, and out of those 2 appointments, I'm taking 1 listing. You're going to be able to forecast the level of business that you need to be closing or need to be doing in order to make the money or whatever the results are that you want in your business. Systems build in accountability. It'll be real quick and easy to look at your prospecting sheets or your follow-up sheets and say, all right, I didn't do all the activity that I need to, so I need to kind of really step it up over the next couple of weeks to make up for that lower level of business that I've been doing. And most importantly, systems are repeatable. You can fall back on that structure. You can push through another day. You can double up if you need to, or if you have to take a couple of days off for some reason, you can pick it right back up and just jump right back in. You don't have to think about it. As with anything else here, if you can't fully commit to be consistent, I wouldn't bother watching the rest of this video. You're not going to gain a whole lot out of it. You basically just be wasting your time because you're not going to be following through. So when we're talking about systems, we're specifically talking about 3 different types of systems, or really 3 areas: pre-appointment, at appointment, and post-appointment. There will be other videos breaking all 3 of these down in greater detail. The entire point of this video is to just look at how this all works together, and some of the higher level stuff that you can look at with each of these. So we're talking about pre-appointment systems. You have your classic sales funnel, and when you're pre-appointment, you're really just filling up your leads, and you're doing some qualifying to turn those leads into prospects. That's it. That's really all you're doing. You might be targeting new activity or new leads. You might be contacting older leads or kind of drumming up some referrals. But at the highest level, it's really just doing lead gen and some basic prospecting to see what you can do with those leads. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. The pre-appointment stuff, it's all extremely systematic. There are hundreds and hundreds of different ways to do it. You just have to kind of find the one that's going to work best for you. I'm a big fan of following a schedule. Once again, it just makes everything nice and simple. You don't have to think about it. If you just do a quick Google search for Realtor Daily Schedule, you'll literally see thousands of these things. I just plucked this one out of the thin air because it's pretty balanced. You're doing your lead gen in the morning. You're kind of circling back a little bit later in the afternoon, and then you're out for appointments. From a higher level perspective, it's pretty good. You can always customize this to be what's really working for you and what's not. But the point is to be consistent, and if you can do that, you're going to succeed. Now, if you're getting a little bit more specific and kind of looking at your daily schedule, I'm a big fan of setting up this type of an agenda where everything's blocked out by hour, or you could do 2-hour blocks. But on the left-hand side there, you see some kind of open space for general notes, and then your daily summary at the end of the day. Those are going to be very important for later on when you're kind of doing your, reflecting on the week and trying to evaluate what happened. But this gives you good structure, but also allows some flexibility. And then even when you're getting into the actual prospecting, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. That once again, there's hundreds of different prospecting sheets out there. I like this one just because it's balanced. It gives you just a few phone calls, a few emails, some note cards to kind of send out. Also has some built-in tracking down here. I created a generic version of this, and the link to that form will be in the comments below. So feel free to take it, run with it if you want to make your own, or if you want to borrow someone else's. Knock yourself out. The important thing is to be consistent. Now, as part of that, this is according to Inside Sales. If you want to get a 90% chance of actually making contact and closing some deals, you're going to have to reach out to people at least 6 times. That's not only from Inside Sales, that's the NAR, Zillow. You can look this number up 100 different ways, but it's consistent across every industry. Is that nowadays you have to reach out to people at least 6 to 8 times in order to actually get a hold of someone and to conduct business. Now, you might be looking at all this and saying, wow, there's kind of a whole lot to it. Once again, you can look at a lot of different ways to go about it. You could have your 10 days of pain, your 20 days of pain. This one, this company called Rocketbox, here's what they do. But the entire point is really to be consistent and follow up. And it's just know that all your pre-appointment stuff is going to take time. So it's super important to make sure that you're blocking time out during the day and kind of pushing through that every day. When you're at the appointment, it's a little bit different. This is when you really get to shine as an individual. Readify is giving you a fantastic, unique value proposition that's going to help make contact and get you in the door. But once you're there, it's really up to you in showing that you are the agent and making that kind of human connection to the client, so that way they can rest easy and make a decision and choose you to work with. And remember from our other videos, video is king. When you're showing video, you're engaging multiple senses. There's a lot of different things here. This is a good time to go ahead and show them the videos that you're doing and create for your clients and your sellers. Show them kind of how it looks on Facebook. Show them some of the vendor partners in there. There's a lot of different things you can show them here to say that, hey, I'm coming with a whole team here. It's not just one agent. And this is really going to kind of separate you from the other 5,000 agents in your market. Is that say, hey, I'm not only talking the talk, I'm showing you the proof. I'm walking the walk here too. And then for the sellers, hey, say yes, I have systems for you too. If we want to go live on the 21st, that means we have to have our pictures done by the 14th. That's the same day I'm going to do my video walkthrough. Here's the kind of systematic look throughout your house of things that you might need to kind of touch up or you're going to want to consider improving by then. And to kind of work back all the dates and give them systems to follow. Because it's one of the things that I think we as an industry kind of fall short on is we tend to focus so much on giving buyers instructions that we kind of tend to forget about giving the sellers instructions. And when you're doing this type of thing, it's a really easy way to once again show that yes, I have systems in place and they work. If you're going to list your house, if you're going to sell your $300,000 or $400,000 or $500,000 asset, are you going to choose the person who comes in with a lot of systems and instructions and is giving you a lot of feedback, or the guy who's just kind of seems to be winging it, even though he might sell a bunch of houses a year? You're probably going to go with the guy who gives you systems because it's giving you something to fall back on. It's giving you something to kind of lean on. Then, of course, make sure that we're asking for the business every step of the way. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, as quoted by Michael Scott. You also have to remember that clients don't necessarily see the situation the same way that you do. You may feel that you're bombing, but the client may not. And if you're not asking for that business, even in that situation, you're not going to get it. So always ask for the business. And then we're also going to take a look at post-appointment systems. And this is where we're going to, we're going to thank everyone regardless of how well the appointment went. We're going to, do some more follow through. Then we're going to convert. Yeah, it's back. We're going to look at that daily prospecting schedule. If that client made a terrible decision and didn't choose you, that's fine. We're just going to put them right back on the prospecting sheet, and we're going to follow up with them. I do want to say one quick note about the note card section. Note cards are really kind of a secret weapon in our business. If you think about it, when was the last time you received a note card that was handwritten? It was either just something that was a Christmas card that basically just said Merry Christmas, and then had a couple of signatures on there, or maybe a birthday card, and pretty much just said Happy Birthday and had a couple of signatures on there, or maybe you got something from a grandparent or or something like that. But the written word really takes that extra step, because you know that the person sat down, thought about what they're going to write, took the time to write it out, put a stamp on the envelope and all that stuff and put it in the mail. While that may only have taken them a few minutes, it has an outsized impact on how you are going to receive that person, because you're like, wow, this person didn't just send me a quick email. They took the time. They put some thought into this. And so after every appointment that you have, send a note card. Go ahead and just do it immediately after the appointment so you don't forget anything. Just, hey, it was great to meet you. Your family, you have a lovely dog, your home is great, whatever it is. You put in a couple of those things that have those nice little connections, drop it in the mail. Because it's going to take a few days for that piece of mail to get there. So it's going to give you a couple of chances to follow up in the meantime. Send them a text or a call, an email. Then on that third day, bam, they're going to get that note card, and you're going to look like a champ. Also in the post systems, just if that prospect made a terrible decision and chose another agent, there's no reason to give up. There's a good chance that home may not sell, or they may not use that agent to buy. So you can also still convert them to your buyers, or you can be the agent that's just kind of hanging around and just kind of staying in touch. I'm not really saying to violate any NAR rules or your MLS rules. Don't solicit them for that listing, but you can certainly let them know that, hey, this is what else I'm listing, or this is something else that's sold in the neighborhood, or hey, I saw this in the news, thought you should know about it. Here's a market update. It doesn't have to be anything terribly important, but just the thing is to be consistent. And if they are thinking of making that change in an agent, what do you think they're going to do? They're not going to restart the entire process and go out and interview 5 or 10 new agents and all this other stuff, because they already know you. They have contact. They know who you are. There's a pretty good chance they like you. And so when they're ready to make that switch, you're going to be the call that they're making. But if you're not doing those follow-up steps, you have absolutely no chance of winning that business. So just by staying on that radar, making those 5th through 12th contacts, that's really when you're going to kind of win that business later on. And say, hey, you just got to be there and be ready for them. And once again, you got to do the follow-up. So even if another way to look at it is for deeper follow-through is following up with the buyers of your listings. You know their address, you know their names. There's a decent chance you met them at the closing. Just stay in touch with them. Be the welcome wagon to the neighborhood, and just kind of once again put them in your circle. You'll hear the statistic thrown about all the time. 88% of people say they would use their agent again, but only 11 or 12% actually do. That's a huge opportunity for you. If you think about it, the average person stays in a home between 5 and 7 years. So this may not be a top level activity, but if you're at least keeping your name active in their mind in the background, when they do come time to sell that house or to kind of move on, you're going to be the person they go to, because you're the one that's been following up with them. They know you. They've established a relationship over the years. And so once again, you just want to be that resource. And that's kind of turning everyone from those online leads into that referral and sphere. Once you get in there and earn that trust, it's a whole new world that really opens up for you. Not only would you get that repeat business from those clients, when they're talking to real estate about, with other people, who are they going to refer you to? The agent that's been following up with them for 3 or 4 years, even though they weren't your client, or the agent that they bought with 3 years ago and they've never heard from since, or all they get is a generic drip email every once in a while. Who are they going to recommend? Once again, even with them, you have to ask for the business every step along the way. Don't be afraid to ask for the business. As long as you're being systematic about it and kind of you're covering all your bases consistently again and again and again, your success will build upon itself. And especially, everything we're talking about here, this is all long run stuff. And this is what's going to generate you. It's going to separate you from just being an individual agent who's kind of chasing a transaction into into someone who's really owning a business and is kind of going about it. Okay, I do step 1, step 2, step 3. I get another client. I go step 1, step 2, steps 3. And eventually, that's really going to allow you to make those adjustments and really build something. So make sure that you're taking time to create your systems and then working. Don't be afraid to make tweaks and adjustments. But once again, as long as you're being consistent with it, you're going to win. Thank you for watching.